It's all about pouring into people, man. And that's what coaching is about. It's about developing people, no matter what level you're at.
Episode 102 featured Coach Chip Taylor, the head football coach at Hamlin University. For more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe.
First and foremost, thank you for having me on. Like, this platform is amazing. Just the fact that we can get a chance to talk about Hamlin football and, my background, I really appreciate it. So thank you. I want to thank you too as well. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we really appreciate you being on, Coach, and actually off air for the audience watching. Coach Taylor and I, we actually just realized we're from the same city. We're both from Philadelphia. So small, very small world. And to kick things off, so Coach Taylor he just completed his 8th season at Hamlin University. So, Coach, would you mind sharing with the audience about your background and how you've gotten involved in your current role?
Wow. Well, I can't over skip what you just said about us being from the same town. The Eagles just lost, so both of us are. He's not showing it, but he's upset. I'm upset. We're both upset humans right now. So I want to
Yeah.
get that out the way. But no, how I got to where I'm at right now is it's been a blessing. Football's always been like a sport that I've been always gravitated towards. So growing up in Philadelphia, I'll never forget. I'm 6 years old. My mom was driving me from Pathmark. I don't even know if Pathmark exists anymore. It's a supermarket in Philadelphia. So Pathmark. We're driving from Pathmark. I see these kids driving their bikes. They're riding bikes, and they have their helmet and their shoulder pads on the handlebars. I said, I want to be like those guys. That's how it all started. And at 6 years old, my mom signed me up for it was Ivy Hill Pop Warner. I don't even know if it was Pop Warner, but Ivy Hill football. I played, and then the thing that was sucked about it was I moved the next year to New Jersey, Willingboro, and I couldn't find where the new football avenue was. So I played soccer for a couple years, and I finally found it when I got to middle school and got back into football. So that's how I kind of got into football, and now we're here.
Very cool. So, can you talk about your experience as, being a head coach and also just kind of backtracking a little bit? What is this your first program that you've been a head coach of?
Yes. Wow. So really quick. So I played football at Illinois State. I left Willingboro in 1998. I'm gonna give you the fast thing. Illinois State, 1998. Graduated 02 of December. Drove back to New Jersey. Living at home was not a thing. Finally got a job at Valparaiso, which was awesome. I did that from 03 to 04. 05, I got my first full-time job at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. Awesome. 06, 07, 08, 09, I was at Valpo again as a defensive coach. The first couple of years of my career, I was coaching the receivers. I should have said that, sorry. And then I went to Bucknell in 2010, 11, 12 as a DB's coach slash special teams. The O-line coach at Bucknell was a Hamlin alum. It was from Minnesota. So I came out here with him. He left after 3 years. Chad Rogaszewski's a great guy. I left when he left and I became the head coach here in 2016. So that's kind of my journey. It's been wild.
Very cool. And going back to early on in your career, Coach, would you mind sharing some pieces of advice that you know now that you wish you had when you were like just getting started off?
Yeah. That's tough because I look back sometimes, and not that you have regrets. I'm very appreciative of if I would have did things differently, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now. But there's times in life where you got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive and go after some things. And not to say you got to chase jobs, but being aggressive is okay. And I probably was not as aggressive as I should have been at some in some stops in my life. But I'm very appreciative of where I'm at right now. So I'd say that.
Got it. So yeah, that actually reminds me of like a cool saying that I heard from one of my mentors, and the acronym is BANO, be assertive, not obnoxious. And
I like it.
I like that just because, and like you were saying, like there's some points in life where you can't really like fold. So can you like go into a little more detail on exactly like what you meant with that?
Yes. perfect example. So as a graduate assistant in 2003 and 4 at Valparaiso, the head coach I played for was at Army. And I think they probably had like like maybe a lower level paying job that I probably could have got in on. But I wanted to stay at Valpo and get my master's degree. Like that was important for me. But looking back on it, like if I'd have maybe been a little bit more aggressive and took that job, who knows where my career could have been right now. So from that standpoint, it's just like you just never know. But it is important to be grounded in where you're at too. I've always tried to, they say, especially when you're a small time football, like be a big time is where you're at. So try to make it as best as you can where you're at, man. And I really appreciate, super excited about what we got going on here at Hamlin University and the people I work with. It's good, so it's all good, man. Some people want to coach on Sundays in the NFL, Saturdays FBS, or Division III, 1 o'clock on Saturdays. So that's where we're
Yeah.
at, and it's good.
Yeah, and I feel like it's all about having that vision and knowing what what you want your outcome to be.
Sure.
And it's okay to not want to be like an NFL coach. I talked with a lot of coaches that this is their dream, and
Sure.
they want to be a Division III or a Division II coach. And there's obviously perks and benefits to all levels, and I know from personal experience being a Gettysburg guy as myself.
Yeah. So I'd say this: you always want to do everybody wants, so when you first, all right, so growing up, you're like, hey, I want to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. You're like, you want to do the best or the highest, so once that didn't happen, hey, I wanted to play at Penn State. Okay, that didn't happen. Hey, I want to coach in NFL. I didn't have it. So you got to make big time where you're at. What I love about this thing, when I'm saying like Division III, like the kids we have and the kids we get, they love football because there is no scholarship. They're not getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
Like, we have kids on campus right now, and they didn't. So semester starts January 22nd, and we've had our kids back since January. January 22nd is the semester for the spring. January 2nd, our football kids were back. The majority of our
Wow.
team were back, and they were lifting, they were working out. So I like the way the group is moving right now. Very excited about the energy that we have, and they want to win. And to win, and football is an off-season sport. Like you got to put time in the off-season. Like everybody shows up in August and hey, we're gonna play a game. No, you got to put time in January, February, March, April, May, June, and that's what our guys have done. So
Yeah, and can you talk more about Hamlin and where you guys are currently at?
yes, so Hamlin University is located in St. Paul, Minnesota. Small Division III liberal arts school. We got anywhere from, and it fluctuates between 1,700 and 2,100 kids. Um, it's a good place to be. I've been here since 2013. Again, I'm not from the Midwest, but it's been a lot of good people here, a lot of good people, and it's all about, yes, we got to win football games. I get that, but the point of us being here and our coaching staff is if it's all about developing young people. How do you
Yeah.
pour into these young guys? Because if I wasn't doing this, I'd be coaching, I'd be teaching high school, I'd be doing something with young people. That's where it's at. That's how you move the bar a little bit, I think, is when you pour into young people. So
Yeah. And and just hearing about like coaches talking about pouring into young people and really, just focusing on those relationships. Like at the end of the day, regardless of the level, regardless of who you're coaching, like it comes down to relationships and caring about the kids as kids, not necessarily just as football players. So, it's cool to hear you talk about that too.
yeah, so one thing I've always said, and I don't know where I picked it up from, maybe common sense. My grandfather always said common sense would take you around the world a couple times. Listen, if I had a son, my son is a freshman in college. He doesn't play sports. But I used to always say when I was in 2016 when I became a head coach, and even watching guys when I was an assistant, it's like, how would you want your son to be treated? That's if you base it around that, I think you're good.
Yeah.
That's a great like that's my bar slash like if you how do you want your son to be treated? If so that's the way I've been up. So I'm hiring coaches. That's super important to me. So yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. And it comes down to just, treating people with respect and caring about them,
Yep.
not just treating people like a number. If you if you actually show kids that you care, you ask about their lives outside of football. You know, I think from these conversations, you know, I'm not a college coach myself, but hearing about that, you know, I feel like that's an integral part to the coaching profession.
It's so I'll say this, especially at this level, you know, like you got to really pour into these guys. Not that you can't do that. And that's the one thing where, you know, I got a chance to do a couple NFL internships, and man, God bless the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Like the running backs coach, he spent some time talking to those guys in a position meeting about their finances. Hey, I got a finance guy. You should think about this, how you move your money. So it's all about pouring into people, man. And that's what coaching is about. It's about developing people, no matter what level you're at. I think you can do it more at this level. You know, I can't imagine what it's like at the FBS level with the transfer portal and the NIL stuff. I don't know what that looks like, but I love where I work at right now. I love the community we have and how these guys work. And like I said, these kids, our players did not have to be here until Monday of next week. They've been here since January 2nd. Like that's the culture we have, man. That's what we're doing. So
Yeah, there you go. Any last words, Coach, you want to share with the audience today?
no, I'm first of all, I'm very appreciative that, you know, you had me on, and, you know, hopefully somebody can learn a little bit more about Hamlin University / myself. And, you know, maybe we can snag a recruit or two
Yes, sir.
from somebody listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for anybody who's out, you know, Midwest looking for like a great, you know, Division III education, I can,
Sure.
you know, attest to it myself. Having a small college experience, Division III,
Hmm,
you know, definitely check them out. And
definitely.
I really appreciate you too, Coach.
Hey, thank you very much for having us, and we appreciate it. Thank you.